Hi, this is Brett from PM2 Consulting. I want to give you a quick overview of what we're calling the modern management process. And the idea is this. The idea is that we need to be far more agile and far more flexible in how we manage our organizations. So this is the story that you've probably heard before, but in a slightly different context. Overall, we start off with an organization strategy. That might be looking forward 5 years, 1 year, or even a quarter. And from there, we need to extract the key objectives that we need to get done and those key results. How would we know that we're working towards those objectives? Now, the management process from there takes us to making sure that our daily operations are linked to those objectives and key results, that the work we're doing is focused and aligned. From there, obviously, leadership and the team themselves and the individuals need to monitor the work they're doing to make sure that they're actually achieving those daily objectives. But monitoring is more than just looking at those daily objectives. The monitor is your daily stand-ups, check-ins that allow employees to surface what are their barriers and blockages, challenges that they have. The outcome from that monitoring activity is always some sort of meeting. The meeting might be a regular scheduled meeting, might be an ad hoc meeting, might even be a one-on-one meeting, but there's some way that we need to get more than one brain working on that problem. Typically, there's 3 outputs from those meetings. One output is information about the strategy and how relevant it is, tweaks we might need to make. A second output might be sort of sub-objectives. If an OKR takes a look at the work we need to do every quarter, this might be what I need to do in the next 2 months, 1 month, 1 week, couple of days. So a shorter time horizon. So let's call those things tasks as opposed to objectives, and some sort of KPIs. And of course, that's going to inform what people do on a daily basis. And so now I'm monitoring not only the OKRs, but these tasks and KPIs as well. The third output from meetings is updating to the check-ins, those daily stand-ups that we have that are even a faster cadence. In fact, a way to think about this is there's almost sort of 3 different flywheels at play. First is this quarterly one where we're doing quarterly refreshes of the overall strategy. Second is a monthly one where we're taking a look at these tasks. And then thirdly, a weekly one with the check-ins. Now, for every department, every organization, the cadence of those change, but the concept is the same, where I've got some of these flywheels which are spinning faster, some slightly slower, some much slower. Now, I call it a flywheel. The concept of a flywheel, like in the front of a gas engine, is a big chunk of metal that smooths the momentum, the energy from each piston firing. So the concept there is you don't do any one of these things to exhaustion. I'm going to do enough of the strategy that it informs what we should be doing for those objectives. We're going to define those objectives enough that people know roughly what they should be doing every day. Based on that, we'll get a rough cut monitoring system in that checks on how we're performing, and then lightweight structuring of our meetings. And again, the output from that, we'll say once a quarter, might be giving us some updates to the strategy. So this is a flywheel. I don't need to do any one of these things to perfection. I just have to do it good enough that it allows that flywheel to begin spinning. And each time it goes around, we get better and better each of these activities. That faster flywheel, the one that takes a look at tasks and KPIs, again, spins at whatever the cadence is that's appropriate for that process. Let's say once a month. And then the daily check-ins or weekly spin even faster. So the idea is we give a slight nudge to each one of these things to begin creating momentum for the business. And the cadence, of course, depends on your organization and your needs. So that's the flywheel concept and the total view of what modern management looks like. Now, what happens is in points of crisis, like way back when COVID hit, the flywheels spin faster. You need to be making these faster adjustments. And when business goes back to normal, they slow back down again to their original cadence. The last thing I want to touch on is that as we take a look at organizations, we find that organizations' challenges tend to cluster around 3 scenarios. One is where they're not that good at capturing their strategy and goals. And so that's a logical starting point for them. And that's what people typically call an OKR process. The second common snag, a challenge, is getting into that linkage between what people do and monitoring performance and getting that risk-free conversations going on and making the performance culture that we work within. Then the third common challenge is around having effective meetings. And the simple test here is if your meetings are effective, you probably have half as many meetings as you used to have, and they take about 37% less time. So inside most organizations, there's a mix of these different challenges going on, and different departments and different regions, different product groups need support in different areas. But you can see how this overall management system fits into this flywheel concept and helps you sort out why different departments are looking for different solutions. I hope this has been useful to you. Thanks for your time.